Welcome back, guys. Today I'll bring you a guide on how to play the most standard of PvP openings there is right now, and we will be going through scouting, we will be going through decision making, we will be going through the way we build our buildings, called a build order. And with that, you will finally be ready for the beautiful standard PvP world, which doesn't actually always go into Stalker Disruptors if you don't want to. With this opening, you can go into whatever you want to go, unless you desire to go for the Buffoon, which I also did a video on, or you desire to go for like some weird 2 base all-in, then it might be a little bit tricky, but even that might be doable. So let's get started. In this game, of course, we will be starting out with a 2-gate opening. That is the most standard one. Don't come up to me with a weird fucking 1-gate fast expand or the Nexus first. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started. We will be starting with a 2-gate. We will be scouting after the first gateway, because number one, you can more easily tell if there's a can rush coming if there's a really early probe. Number two, if they go 1-gate fast expand, you can block their expand. And number three, it just kind of feels good. So I always go for the 1-gate fast, for the scout after the 1-gate, just to check for some weird stuff. But as we can see, nothing weird. The next thing we have to scout for, we always want to look for very specific things to scout for in every game and every build order, right? The first thing is 1-gate fast expand, Nexus first, or maybe a can rush. Right, that's the first thing. Meanwhile, of course, the opening, like the key opening of a PvP, the 1-gate and 2-gate, I will not go through. I talked about that in my openings video. Most people know that by now. It's just a 2-gate opening. The next thing we look out for is the second pylon at home? Because if the second pylon isn't at home, it's going to be a proxy. It might also be a fake proxy, to be fair. It might also be a fake proxy. But how we react to that is a little bit different. I will go through that in a bit, right? But in this game, the pylon is at home. Our pylon is at home. And then we start 2 stalkers. 2 stalkers is the most standard thing, and this is the important thing. Because let's fast forward, right? We start 2 stalkers. Of course, the third pylon goes down. We try to block him from... we try to block them from building the pylon, while we really want to figure out what pops out of their gateways. So we try to get a pylon down and then cancel to see what pops out. And now let's fast forward to when it pops out. Boom. Right now there are 3 options that might happen. I mean, there are some niche ones, like very niche ones, like 1 in 1,000 games ones, but the 3 main options are Stalker, which is what we are going for in this most standard build order, Stalker Sentry, or Double Adept. Now, if it's Stalker Sentry, like this, and you see that, you can be as greedy as you want for the next few minutes, because nothing can happen to you. There can't be a Stargate. And if there's a Stargate, that's more important. There can be a Stargate, there can be other stuff, but all of that will be so delayed that by the time your double sentry after the double stalker pops out, because that is the most standard build order, let me show you that. The double sentry. Holy hit, the double sentry, there we go, thank you. I was lacking minerals because I was grabbing the Nexus earlier. Every time you see, you will just scout everything early enough, so you don't have to be scared at all. If it's a double stalker, we go through the standard way of doing this builder, which I will go through in a little bit. And if we see double adept, what I would recommend on ladder is to always not to go for double sentry, but to go for double stalker into Stargate, into expansion, into another double stalker. Yes. Or maybe double stalker before the expansion. You guys can try out depending on your macro, right? And because going Stargate into Adepts is super easy, is super great, you will feel amazing. But that actually goes into a little bit of a different build order. The Stargate, it's a little bit different. Even though a lot of the puzzle pieces will still be the same, they will be put together in a little bit of a different way. So we will not go too much into detail about that. If we don't see a second pylon, which is also now the point of talking about, like the point has come to talk about that, if you don't see a second pylon, I would also recommend a Stargate and keep going with a Stargate reaction, which means the shield battery and maybe a Nexus, maybe not. And you want to, of course, scout around the map with of course the probe on their side, the probe on your side at best, and then of course the 2 stalkers to see if the proxy pylon is actually like a proxy robo or a proxy stargate or whatever. In the proxy robo case, you just build voidways and shield batteries and you kind of won the game. There you go, which is why I love openings, getting a stargate. It's not the only reaction. It might not even be the best reaction, but in my experience on ladder, it is the best and most safe reaction because even against the DTs, if you get an oracle out, you're somewhat safe. Right. So next up, we've got with that through, we will talk about the normal way of going through this. If you see like a Stalker Sentry or a double Stalker, of course, when there's a Stalker Sentry, you can be a little bit greedier, which you can see by me not grabbing the shield battery as early, but instead grabbing the pylon. So what you usually do is you wait with the chrono boost a little bit, and you grab a shield battery after the 2 Stalkers and the 2 Sentries have started, and you grab a pylon. Actually, no, you grab the Twilight and then you grab the pylon. Because usually I wait a little bit with my chrono boost. And because of that, don't have the minerals and don't have the supply space for the Twilight. But even in this case, actually, you could have easily gotten the Twilight before the pylon. So never mind, that was just a mistake by me. Grab the Twilight, grab the pylon. And then there's a decision to be made where you either, of course, you always grab a 3rd Sentry. Honestly, this replay, I'm a little bit slow. Don't worry though. You grab a 3rd Sentry instantly after the 2 Sentries are done. Right, I'm just a little bit greedy right now because of the Stalker Sentry. I'm just like extra greedy. But you grab a 3rd Sentry, and then you grab a Twilight. And then there's already been a decision made. But basically what you do is you grab a 3rd Sentry, and either you wait with a Forge and you grab 2 Stalkers. And basically what you do is you have a shield battery here and you have your army when you don't move out. That move out I only did because you went Stalker Sentry. I would not recommend it personally. Because it doesn't really do anything. It's just a little bit fun. You have the... that was WhatsApp. You have double Stalker at home, double Sentry at home, 3rd Sentry at home with the shield battery, and you keep that here. And the moment Warp Gate finishes, which you can also chrono boost, you grab 2 Stalkers in the main mineral line. Just so when an Oracle flies in, because if it's a Stargate opening by them, you're safe. And then most Stargate openings will be followed up by like a 4 Stalker 2 edit push here. And the 2 Oracles fly either in the main or in the natural somewhere. And you want to be safe versus that, and which is why you delay the Forge. Or you get the Forge instantly and you wait with the Stalkers a little bit. Because I didn't chrono boost my warp gates, the warp gate, I didn't really have to make the decision anyways, right? So you grab the Twilight, you grab the Forge, you build probes, and and then the next decision you basically make is, do you want to grab 2 extra gateways and then gas Robo? Or do you want to grab gas Robo and then the extra gateways? Or do you want to grab the Nexus, then the extra gateways, then the Robo? Or do you want to grab the Nexus, the Robo, and the gateways? Basically, there are 3 next pieces to the build order if you play it standard, and that is either, as you just heard, it's either gas Robo is piece number 1, 2 extra gateways is piece number 2, and 3rd base is piece number 3, right? And the safest way to go about it is you grab the gas and the Robo, because DTs. Proxy DT shot might happen. And then the 2 gates and the Robo. The most normal way to do it, depending on what your opponent opened, of course. You have to be constantly scouting with the sentries, which is why this opening is so great. You can constantly scout. Is Robo gas and 3rd base, and then the 2 gateways. You can play around with all of these combinations. What fits better to you? In this game, I went for the safest option, and the safest option of course includes letting 2 edips into your base. I would not recommend that. I would always recommend having a probe here, because now I'm gonna be behind. But honestly, this already is the opening. This is the opening. The 3 puzzle pieces. Before that, of course, everything that we talked about, that is the opening. You constantly scout, you grab the 3rd base, and then you are free to do what you want to do, because now we have a Robo for observers. We will now add gateways, right? 6 gateways, 8 gateways. The reasoning behind the gas is you basically grab the gas as soon as you transition out of Stalkers, or you notice where I don't have enough gas because I have too many gateways. But as soon as you transition somewhere, you need the extra gas. You grab another shield battery at the 3rd base, of course, but then you just go up to 8 gateways or 6 gateways. Like, this is already where like starts to differentiate a lot. My opponent in this game went for 6 gateways. Oh no, in another game, an opponent went for 6 gateways and heavy Blink Stalker production and just crushed me. You can go into Immortal production, you can go into Charged Archon Immortal if you want to, because with this opening, as you can probably tell, you can go to whatever you want. You have set yourself up for the future, you have a 3rd base, you have decent gas income, you can just grab another gas and some more gateways, go into Charged Archon Immortal, you can go into Disruptors, you can go, as you can see my opponent is doing, into DTs and Robos, and just get a good Stalker force with Blink DT Harassment Squad. And I would always recommend going Charge after Blink. I don't know if my opponent is doing it this game, but getting Charge is very inexpensive. It's very inexpensive. My opponent doesn't do it in this game, but getting Charge is always very inexpensive. I would always recommend it. Keeping 3 Stalkers here in case they want to harass you with a Warpism, always really good. But yeah, you just go into whatever you feel like. Mass Stalker Disruptor, Charged Archon Immortal. I don't know, fucking Skytos. Please don't, but you do you. It's your life. I don't want to judge. You can grab a really quick 4th. If you were constantly producing workers, you will notice just how much resources you have. Of course, in this game, my opponent is much ahead because of the 2 Edips. But yeah, that's the opening. So guys, with this, you can finally play standard PvPs the way you always wanted to, because you have set yourself up really well. Again, the proxies, I would recommend going Stargate. Stargate Direction or like Stargate Builder is a little bit different, but the pieces of going Twilight and Forge are still the same. They are still the same. Going into the gas and then the Robo is still the same. It's generally the same thing, just that you add a Stargate before it. But because everything is a little bit delayed, it plays out sometimes very differently. So there's that. But with that said, this is it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope it helped. I hope you guys have found some inspiration for PvP, which might be a little bit awkward for some of you. It's actually awkward for me on this level right now, because from now it gets a little bit complicated. People do weird stuff, but it's very open and very free flow. Because of that, it can be a lot of fun if you just get creative, guys. Love you all. Take care. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. As always, also I stream every day. Different schedule soon though, different schedule because of DreamHack. For the next 3 weeks, I will stream from 10 to 3 p.m. CEST. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. CEST. So if you want to, if that time slot works better for you, go check it out. Everything linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.